There's a Meg. He was gonna hold my phone while I do the honors. All
right. Ooh, I thought you said one big. That's a nice one.
Not bad.
See if that root's in there. Might be right down there.
No, it's not. See,
well,
see the shape?
That's so nice to find a Meg.
Yeah, for what we're digging.
Wow, pretty good size too.
There's a Angustiden, 3 9/16 inches long. Still see some serrations on it, but that root lobe is gone. And I call it an Angustiden because it's got these little nubs here right under the root where the cusps used to be. There's a nice Megalodon. I didn't film out there. Sometimes it just gets too sloppy and I just can't do it because I don't want to risk losing it. It's definitely been through the grinder. It's pretty worn, but it's still complete. Oh yeah, obvious serration marks. See them right there? At some point or another, we discovered that there's 2 layers at this spot. 2 layers? How in the world could that possibly happen? Well, let me try to explain the best I can. So, the original deposit was sitting here on top of the dark green formation at the very bottom, the Chandler Bridge. It's a lag formation. It was deposited at some point in the Ice Age, and I don't exactly know when, but then the waters got calm and it allowed this light blue-green formation, this Penholoway formation. I know we've talked about that before. It allowed it to form, and we know the water was calm because this stuff is made of very, very fine grain, and if the water was moving a whole lot, it wouldn't allow this fine grain stuff to settle. So anyway, this stuff built up, covered up those original rocks, and then later in the Ice Age, a river starts pouring through here, cutting away that Penholoway, and it washes the rocks out of the base formation on top of the Penholoway that's still there. And so you have the formation that's on the bottom with the lag, then you have some Penholoway in the middle, and then you have some rocks on top. So that's how there's 2 formations, and there's fossils in both. We're lucky here because the Penholoway is not very thick, only a few inches. Easy to dig down through it to hit to the other formation at the bottom. In some spots, it's a lot thicker and you can't just dig through it with a shovel. There's some Penholoway formation at a different site. That is about 15 feet of sand up there, and then there's that straight line comes down to that bluish gray stuff, and that's about 8-10 feet thick before you get down to the fossil formation, which is down under that muck. So got to do some work before we can see what's down there. But anyway, that Penholoway formation varies drastically in depth from location to location. It's pretty nice Angustiden, 2.5 inches. It's got everything, got the serrations, got the cusps, a little bit rounded tip, but it's there. Root's pretty good, all except for that one raised part right there. It got pitted out, but a lot of them do that, so we got to take what we can get, right? There's a root lobe sticking out. Actually, there's 2 root lobes sticking out.
Do you think it's, ooh, you're gonna need that shovel,
Ooh,
dude.
Yeah, it's in there. Here, hold that. Please.
Let me see.
All right, I just popped it. Okay.
Man. Ooh,
Oh,
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, see, you went a day without finding one, and
there it is.
Lord, is that a Meg or an Angie?
I think it's a Meg.
Yeah. Good
Nice
job.
one. Yeah.
Good job. You're going to stop it. Look at you. I knew you'd get one today.
Here's a pretty worn Megalodon tooth, but it's complete, so I'm happy. Pretty nice burlette for being so worn. Now, just out of curiosity's sake, since this thing is so worn. Let's see if we can see any hint of serrations. I certainly can. See all those little nub-looking things right there on the edge? Little lines. That's where the serrations used to be, especially right there. You can see them. Look at this Angie. 2 11/16. We're gonna call this one the shamer of the day because it is just missing that one cusp over there from being the superest of heroes. It's got great color, awesome serrations. It's even got the tip. Oh, I wonder what happened to that cusp up there. Obviously lost millions of years ago, but it left the rest of it for me to find, whatever it was that took it. That looks like a big Angie down there.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a big one. Check out that Angustidens. Got some serious feeding damage right there. Else that would be probably one of the best Angustidens from that site. But 3 7/8 inches long. Huge cusp, sharp serrations, good root, pretty good burlette. But like I said, got that feeding damage over there. You can see where it bit into a bone and it just said all the way up the edge. But they gotta eat though, right? And I just flipped out this Mako. That's a big one. I gotta film that guy. Check out this monster Mako cleaned up. 2 5/8 inches long, and that thing is huge. Giant, thick root, big old burly blade. And it's even got some pretty colors because it was down there at the base of that Penholoway formation. And it absorbed some of those minerals and took advantage of the extra time down there to not get worn and still retain that nice sharp edge. Yeah, that's a nice Mako. Nice little Mako. This is an Isurus retroflexus. These are different from the bigger hasseless teeth because they almost all look like that T shape, the classic necklace tooth. Feast your eyes on this great white. They do not get better than this. It's 1 11/16 and it's got everything. Really sharp serrations, not a chip in the root. When we're looking for great whites, that's what we want. And we find so few that are complete. I treasure every one of these. Oh, this Megalodon tooth, it's hideous. It's beautiful, but hideous. We know what it was used for and how awesome those creatures were and what they use these things for, so it's inevitable some of these things end up in this sad and ravaged state. But you know what? I still love finding them. It's still awesome. See it right there? See the corner of it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, please be whole.
Oh, you know what's whole. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All day.
That's a nice meg tooth. 3 5/8 inches long. I mean, it's seen better days, but it's still in pretty good shape. I mean, you got pretty good burlette still there, some strong serrations on it, some cracking on the root, but that happens a lot. You know, the teeth dry out, get wet, dry out, get wet, and eventually the rock just can't handle it and it cracks, and so we have those marks. Still a beautiful tooth.
Weasel, look at the freaking, and let me guess, it's whole.
No, it's
Hey, that's not
feeding
bad.
damage up there, but they usually are. Look at the rut there.
Holy
Huge.
crap.
See the other side of the rut.
That's a
beautiful.
big one, dude.
Yeah, that's big.
Wow.
That's righteous.
Good find.
Mm-hmm. Look at the size of this sperm whale tooth. It's 7 inches end to end, and if it had both ends, it'd probably be 8 or 9 inches. This is just a giant. I mean, it's as big around as a Pepsi can. Just monstrous. It's hard to imagine how big of a whale actually had this thing in its mouth, and it had lots of them in its mouth. What a killer find. This is probably the biggest whale tooth I've ever found. All right, here we go. Into the line. Got a bunch of decent sized teeth today. No huge ones, but some nice ones. Got that monster Angie. Couple of good Megalodon teeth there. A Shamer Angie. A really worn Meg. Huge Mako, nice retroflexus. Arguably the best great white from that site so far. Gigantic sperm whale tooth. That's probably going to be my FOD, the find of the day. So I really appreciate y'all watching this video and joining us on the hunt. We'll catch you next time. Till then, happy hunting.